Hey there guys, I'm SonicGhost and welcome back to some more Let's Play Splatoon 2 Octo expansion. Last time we started to make our way down the E line here, we got ourselves 2 stations complete. In this video we're going to move on here with, cannot predict now, the Heinous 8-ball station. So here we have a choice of 2 different weapons, the Mini Splatling and Burst Bomb, and the Bamboozler 14 Mark 1 and Burst Bomb. We're going to go ahead and start things off with a recommended, the Mini Splatling. When Ink Furler is unfurled, you can keep it open by shooting the end of it. An 8-ball will also unfurl an Ink Furler. To activate checkpoints, both you and the 8-ball must pass by them. Take care out there. Go ahead and begin the test. An Ink Furler, careful how you roll the 8-ball on that thing. Now simply put, make sure that thing is moving when the Ink Furler's down because you do not want this thing to get pushed back. Fabulous! You're really expressive on that one, weren't you, Cuttlefish? Here we got another set of Ink Furlers. I'm going to push this ball ever so slightly forward. Now I'm going to use my Burst Bomb to blow up the balloon fish. Now let's go ahead and push this ball straight down the middle, which will give us all the points. I need to hurry here because the Ink Furlers are about ready to roll up, and that could easily kill me if I'm not careful. Take that aim at the center of the ball. I mean, someone on the right also works. Somehow. Honestly, that shouldn't have worked. Yo, that was sick! Why, thank you, Pearl. I like to show off the moves. Like that one. I call that, throw it into the Octarian. How do you like it? Go ahead and shoot here. Wait a moment for the ball to go back up. Activate the Ink Furler. And now when that thing rolls out, it will actually push it further ahead. But if you didn't get the ball down here and you're down this section, go ahead and shoot this specific area because here is an ink rail getting you back up to the top area where the set checkpoint was. We don't need that luckily, so let's ink up this wall and climb up. Here we got ourselves more ball launchers. Here I'm going to go ahead and just wait a second. That was really close. Luckily, this one will keep the ball going straight up, so you can take your time here to aim up your shot and activate the Ink Furler. Well, that was a bad time. I activated that thing a half second too late. As you can see here, you need some pretty good timing. Otherwise, yeah, your ball is just going to get flung into the pit. The route to the side should allow you to proceed, which is good because we have no other way around if that was not the case. So here, I'm just going to wait a minute. I'm going to go ahead, shoot the ball, and make sure it makes it over before we go. Phew, you had me scared as catfish. 8-ball goal is in sight. Yo, but take a look at that twirly, sparkling stuff. I mean, dang. So essentially this section, we're going to be juggling around the 8-ball until we get to the ending. So I'll just take aim at the ball, shoot it, and keep on hitting the Ink Furler at times too, because if you don't, yeah, simply put, that's going to roll back up into your face. But here's the 8-ball, made it to the other side. Let's aim into the goal area, and with that, we have passed the test. There is another ink rail over to the side here in case you get over to the section without the 8-ball, so you can always go back to the checkpoint. But we at least completed the test with the Mini Splatling, but we still have one more weapon type to use. Our station opened up, but we gotta go back to a previous one real quick, because we need to complete this Heinous 8-ball station with the Bamboozler Mark 1. So back for another round of 8-balls, let's go ahead and pick our other weapon type, the Bamboozler. So as you can imagine with the payout, this is the harder weapon of 2, mainly just because of how good the Mini Splatling is for a mission like this. Bamboozler may be able to charge up fast, but it won't be doing all that much damage. And for something like this, that's not going to really help all that much. As we just seen, it makes pushing this ball over the Ink Furler, for example, a lot harder. So we're going to need to just take our time with this and get those shots in pretty accurately with this set 8-ball. We don't want to hit too far over to the left or right because that's also going to affect how much distance we're going to get with the ball. We want to make this thing go straight ahead, not slightly off on an angle, to a point where it can also still be a problem. How did that miss? This is why I was saying I went ahead straight on. I somehow miss. I never did that kind of heinous miss before. That is a new one. Throw the burst bomb here. Roll this thing out. How? What in the world? How the... Okay. It's like, is there any possible way that you can salvage that? Any. Because I didn't see any way of coming out. That... Get the ball back up to the platform. Be very careful where it launches this time. What? Wait, how did... Okay. The 8-ball clipped the side of the ink furler on the way up. Are you serious? What is happening? This one checkpoint is going downhill fast. We lost 3 lives in just one section in a course of 1 minute. That is a new record. Just give it a second here. I'm not having that ball go back down to the pits. Okay, maybe you want to go in the pits. You can't deny the 8-ball when it wants. These 8-ball missions, man, they're so precise at times. And this is one of those cases where I guess I'm not precise enough. I'm gonna have to wait this one out. The 8-ball keeps on going slightly off on a side angle. So let's just line this thing up a little bit better before we launch it. There we go. Jeez, it only took like 5 attempts, but here we are. We finally made it. So let's go ahead now and line this ball up for the second shot. At least this one, I don't have to worry about doing anything with. Once the ball is on the ink furler, I just let it roll it up and then push it forward. Simple as that. Charge up our shot here and wait for the ball to get up high above. And I was really waiting for that to just backfire. Luckily, it did not. So let's go ahead and ride up this ink furler. And here we're going to be really careful just because of how much power we have with this weapon. It's not much, so we may have to shoot the ball twice. And that was actually the case. If I shot it once, I might not have had enough strength to go to the other side with it. But now the final section. Let's go ahead and roll up this furler, wait for the ball to be centered, and shoot it. There we go, we made it. Wow, this section was way easier than anything else. The hardest section was the one ink furler where you had to launch it across a platform. It shouldn't have been that difficult. It just was. I don't know why it was. It didn't work out for me, okay? Had some really bad ball physics on my side. But hey, we completed the heinous 8-ball station. No need to come back now. So what do you say we look at the mem cake we just got from the station and forget everything that just happened? I think that's a good idea. It's a splat roller. I shake the squeegee to and fro. As I do laps, my collar saps. A fair trade for a mighty blow. I mean, that's kind of what most rollers do. A lot of people who play rollers, at least in early game Splatoon, they will just keep this thing rolling on the ground, and they just roll over people, which, you know, the description kind of says that all, but rollers are really good to also fling at people. Always remember to use the fling, because I don't see enough people, at least in early game of Splatoon, do that. I've seen some really good competitive play with these rollers. They're a pretty solid weapon type. Let's go ahead and move on now to our next station. Getting dizzy with it. The Don't Ralph station. So here we only have one weapon to choose from, the H3 Nozzle Nose and Splat Bomb. So that's a pretty easy choice. Go ahead and pick the Nozzle Nose. Please shoot the ink switches one at a time. The Octo missiles here can be useful, depending on how you use them. You'll want to make good use of the range of that nozzle nose too. Take care out there. Go ahead and begin the test. This enemy out right away so we don't get shot. And right away we got an ink switch, so let's go ahead and shoot it here. One thing you gotta keep in mind if you haven't played the nozzle nose weapons before is that you cannot hold the shoot button for these things to continuously shoot. One press of the button will shoot 3 shots out of the nozzle nose, and then for your next set of shots, you need to press the button again. So this is kind of like the bucket weapons as I coined them, where you have to keep on pressing the shoot button in order to proceed. So if you're familiar with how slosher weapons work in the Splatoon world, then you should be at least comfortable with how the H3 nozzle nose controls when it comes to its shooting method. So here we go. We gotta go ahead and be very careful here because one wrong move, we will die, simply put. So let's be very careful. We do something a little risky in this section. Jump over to the other side here to get me some extra points. I'm gonna hesitate here for a minute because we got missiles shooting the wall, which will ink it up in the enemy color. So I don't want that to happen. Now looks like you use that ink switch to change the path of the Octo missiles. If I change it to said path, they will hit this other switch, And now we want to go ahead and change things back. Simply put, we don't want that switch to be active forever because that will actually cause a problem for us. And what else is a problem? Bad jumping. I have that in spades. Let's just be very careful with attempt number 2. You know, why not? I want some extra points. Sometimes failing a mission can give you more score, so I might as well take it. So here I'm actually going to shoot this thing a total of 3 times, I think. Because what I want to do is let these missiles go. Wait for that one to go. Shoot it. Actually, I got to hit it 4 times. What am I saying? I got to turn all the way back around. Because I need to go ahead and line myself up, making that way easier than it was before. And with that, we made it to our next checkpoint. There's an egg switch. And hitting it in Pearl's request, well, we can kind of see the fate of these Octarians. Scoop them up and let them go. Later, bad guys. It's a very satisfying way to kill enemies, too. I love it. So now we want to go ahead and hit this ink switch so we can go ahead and move to the other side. Don't need to hit all the way because just enough of a move will be enough for us to actually jump over to the said platform. And with this, we made it to our final section here. To activate this checkpoint, as we can see, the goal is just up ahead. Here we got another set of walls we can go ahead and move around, but this one's a little different as we'll spin this one up and down. So we want to be very careful, but down here, we got ourselves some extra points. If you want to go ahead and grab these down below, let's go ahead and ink ourselves back up a path. Ink up the side of the wall here so we can go ahead and climb back up to the said top here. And now with this, well, simply put, we want the missiles, but no missiles in sight. Well, flip it again. There's no missiles. You know what to do. Actually, no, I know what's the problem. We screwed up with the other wall. We actually can't do the section intended now because I screwed up in the previous section. Well, you know what? If a game doesn't like it, then we can do it my way. So, here's what you're supposed to do. The other side shoots missiles. You want the missiles to shoot this way. Problem is, I set up the wall in a very bad spot. So, what we can do is shoot this said switch ourselves, go back over here really fast, shoot the balloon, and then just climb up ourselves, and then we'll make it to the goal. But because we screwed things up in a previous section, where we set things to how they're supposed to be, and do things how the game kind of expects the player to solve the said test. So here, hit the switch so we can let the Octo missiles pass through, and then they'll be able to hit that said switch. So from here, hit that, climb up the said wall, and now we wait until things start moving back to where they're supposed to be. Kind of an awkward way for us to pass the test, but you know what? We passed it in 2 different ways. Take the switch on your own time, shoot it up, or let a missile do it for you. Either way, we're done with Don't Ralph Station. So now we're done with that station. You know what time it is, but first, Memcake. It's the splatter shot. The polished nozzle gleams and shines. Unblemished gun reflects the sun. A good day's match, victory's mine. The gun of legends, the one that started it all, the splatter shot. One of the most common weapons you'll see in Splatoon, but that's because of how many different variations the splatter shot has. It's a very iconic weapon for the series, and rightfully so. And in fact, if you pre-ordered Splatoon 1 back in the day on the Wii U via Target, you would have got yourself a Splattershot replica toy water gun. So even Nintendo saw this weapon looking like a water gun that you can use in the real world and decided to capitalize that by making their own replica toy water gun of the Splattershot. It's a really cool little memcake and a cool little accessory that you could have got with your copy of Splatoon 2. I think it's finally time we address the elephant in the room. We could have got this a very, very, very long time ago. But here we are. Here lies the surrounding thing. Burst and Run Station. It's finally time for us to get our second of the 4 thangs. Here we only have the choice of the one weapon, Splatter Shot. Let's go ahead and pick it, and let's make our way up the tunnel. There's something suspicious about this room. Oh, it reminds me of the good old Bluefin Depot. This is it, our next thing. Shoot the barrier, and once it's destroyed, we have access to our second of the 4 Thangs. Slammin'! You found the 2nd Thang. That is half of them. You are one bad mama jam. Rock on! Huh. So the 4 Thangs come in different shapes and sizes. They look like parts of something. I can't quite ascertain what, though. This is looking very familiar. Like, I swear, now we got the top piece. I'm assuming that's maybe a top piece. I mean, it could be a bottom for all I know, but this thing... See, it feels like I've seen it somewhere before. Maybe used something similar. I probably need more pieces of these 4 Thangs to really piece this one together, so let's get out of here. We found 2 Thangs so far. What the heck are they? I'm running on empty. I could sure go for some Krabby Cakes right now, though. I mean, maybe we'll find some somewhere. I'm sorry, we haven't found a single Krabby Cake yet, but at least we got 2 of the 4 Thangs. And with that, technically, that's halfway through our journey. Even though it's taken us a while to get here, we're at least making some good progress. But, back on the Deep Sea Metro map, we do know where one of the other 4 Thangs are located. It's on our right side, but we want to head back over into the E line and complete this here, as we do want to unlock another path here in the Deep Sea Metro. But we'll be doing that in the next episode. Next time on Let's Play Splatoon 2 Octo Expansion, we'll continue on here with the E line. I'll see you guys next time.